All right, you guys, we are officially more than 2/3 through the year. Can you believe that? So this got me thinking about how powerful it can be to set money goals according to time. So today, I want to go over some tips for finishing out the year financially strong. So it's the beginning of September, which means we've got a little less than 4 months left in 2024. So it's not too late to set a goal and accomplish it. And sometimes having a specific finish line is all you need to stay motivated and to make major progress. So let's talk about some simple changes that you can make to see big impact in no time. So my first tip or challenge to you is to finish the year financially strong is to revisit your current goals. So we all were like, yeah, New Year's resolutions, like way back when, right? And then it gets to February, we're off track. I mean, it's just crazy. But it doesn't mean that you're doomed for the rest of time. So looking ahead at 12 months can be really daunting, but looking ahead just 4 months feels a little bit better, a little bit more doable. So let's say you set a goal back in January, go back to your January goals, and maybe it was a goal to set an extra $100 a month towards your mortgage. Well, if you haven't stuck to that goal the way you wanted to, what if you set a new and improved goal of saying, hey, what if I put $500 towards my mortgage by the end of this year? Or have you ever set a goal and it was just really low? Then revisit some of the areas that maybe you've been crushing it and see, okay, if we can up the ante just for a few months. So adjusting your goals is a great way to have success when it comes to your money. And even here at Ramsey, different business units will get up and speak to the entire company every single week to report their recent goals. So it's not unusual for them to say, yeah, we initially hit the number that we wanted, but we saw progress and we went ahead and increased our original goal. Now, regardless of whether you go back and you're like, oh yeah, I made great progress when it comes to my goals, make sure that you are using data to inform your financial goals for next year. So speaking of that, my second tip is to finish the year strong by going back through your budget and do a deep clean. So the trick I'm about to explain to you is one of the many reasons why I love the EveryDollar budgeting app. If you open your EveryDollar app, you can click Insights and you can look at trends of your own personal spending habits. Pay attention when you might have overspent in an area, or maybe even certain months you'll see, oh gosh, we were, over budget here, or maybe we were under budget. Maybe we ate out a lot during the summer, or maybe there was a birthday party that we forgot to budget for. Like whatever the patterns that you're seeing in your budget, think of those for next year. And if you've never tried out the EveryDollar budget, it is a game changer, you guys. Go to everydollar.com/Rachel to get started right away. All right, my third tip to finish the year financially strong is to focus on debt if you have any. So if you are using credit cards, for instance, maybe you make a commitment to say no more credit card spending till the end of the year. Maybe you just ditch them all together, but sometimes it takes people some baby steps. Or maybe you're paying off debt, but you're kind of in a slump and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Remember, time is on your side. Get motivated again and have those bite-sized goals for the end of the year to keep you going. Ask yourself, what's one goal that could be a quick win for you by the end of 2024? And sometimes it's worth it to focus on just one thing to get that momentum going, okay? So you guys can do this. Ditch that debt by the end of the year. Make progress towards it. All right, before I share my last two tips for finishing the year financially strong, I would love to tell you about one of our sponsors, Christian Healthcare Ministries. So when you go against what society thinks is quote unquote normal, like avoiding debt, for example, it might sound or seem really weird at first, but that's totally okay. We want you to be weird if that means you're actually doing things intentionally, including how you spend your healthcare dollars. And one way to be intentional is with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM isn't health insurance. They're a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of healthcare costs without sacrificing their freedom. So find out more at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. All right, my fourth tip for finishing the year strong is to budget for Christmas. I know. I mean, think about all the holidays coming up. You got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas. And listen, Christmas is usually the one that you're going to spend more money on. So make sure that you're planning ahead for it. So budget for, even the kids' Halloween costumes. Yes, budget if you're going somewhere for Thanksgiving, be thinking about that. And think through, hey, are there limits that we want to put on Christmas this year? Are there limits for each spouse and what we're going to spend on each other? Think through all of these things because the truth is It is coming, y'all. The holidays are coming. And the earlier you can budget, the better off you're going to be, because you're not going to make impulse decisions and rack up debt. And come January, February, March, you're kicking yourselves thinking, golly, why didn't I start saving earlier? Well, here I am telling you, start saving. All right, my fifth and final tip for finishing the year financially strong is to make a goal to save or invest a certain amount of money by the end of the year. So whether this is contributing, an extra $50 a month to retirement, or maybe you want to save $1,000 before December, whatever it is, have a goal out there. As humans, I think we're tempted to think, oh yeah, I'll be disciplined later. I just need to get through the holidays. I'm not going to worry about it. This is the time now to implement some really great habits, you guys, and to be thinking through, hey, we can put some money aside and save. Because again, this whole idea of finishing strong is I want you to have some goals in place that you actually accomplish. And you actually say, oh my gosh, at the end of the year, look what we did, in the last quarter of the year. And that's going to really take you into January with a lot of momentum. All right, here's a little bonus tip for you. If you've ever grabbed one of our favorite Ramsey Goal Planners, you need to grab yours today. The newest one is out. So shop the link in the description so you can order yours for the new year and be sure you're planning all things life and money. And if you haven't checked out my episode on feeling financially behind with my friend Dawn, aka Minimal Mom, make sure to check that out. All right, you guys, as always, make sure to take control of your money and create a life you love. All right, spoiler alert. Your ego is probably not going to like this episode, but we're going to get real because it's good for all of us. So we're going to break down what America's #1 wealth killer is actually costing you. And to keep things interesting, at the end, I'll share my one exception to avoiding this wealth killer. So stay tuned. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. So there's a lot of conflicting financial opinions out there, but I really do believe the #1 wealth killer is something that almost all of us can agree on when it comes to financial experts, and that is car loans. So there are plenty of other countries around the world where they use cars for utility, like it gets them to point A to point B, right? But for us, it's become part of our identity to the point that it's like we will go into debt and financially we will not make smart decisions because of our car. So listen, I get it. Our cars, they say a lot about us. And I remember, being like, I'll never drive a minivan because I just felt like they're ugly. And that just says like, I'm not cool anymore. And like, no, I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be that mom. And what happened? Set my ego and pride aside. And I've been driving a minivan for 5 years. So again, I don't love it. Like, it's not like this is like my dream car ever. Like it's very functional. I do love it. I don't like how it looks, but I love it. So I get it. I get that like it becomes your identity a little bit, but we want to get over that because again, I would take a paid off car all day over a car with a lot of debt that looks great. So let's talk about why this is the #1 wealth killer. So #1 is that immediate money is lost. When you buy a brand new car, okay, the moment you drive it off the parking lot of that dealership, it loses 9% of its value. It is the most expensive purchase that we make that goes down in value. And research shows that new cars lose the most value within the first year of ownership, which means your car is worth about 20% less than what you paid for it 12 months earlier. And that's for a brand new car. So again, when you buy a car, you're basically buying a depreciating asset. I am against using debt of any kind when it comes to your financial life, but especially with this one, because again, you are borrowing money and then paying interest on top of that for something that's going down in value. Again, something, if we can remind ourselves, that's supposed to just get us from point A to point B. It wasn't supposed to be all about our identity and who we are and if we're successful, if we're not, if we look cool, if we don't. No, it was supposed to like literally drive us to where we need to go. And now we are going into debt and paying car loans every month with high interest. And it's just insane. Absolutely insane. #2, it's an embarrassing way to waste your money. Because again, like we were just saying, it is just a car. It's a car, you guys. I mean, in Europe, people are walking around. They're taking trains. They're driving tiny cars. I mean, they're doing all of this. But here, for some reason in America, it has like become something of like the status symbol. And I would say around the world, maybe that is true. But again, do not make a bad financial decision by going into debt for something that is supposed to get you from point A to point B. So remember that. Another embarrassing and potentially dangerous way to lose your money and your ownership of your personal info is by not protecting your data from online scammers, which is why I love and use Delete Me. So if you don't remove your personal data from the internet, it's basically like a billboard with your name, your address, your email, even your kids' names, and they're out there on sketchy data broker websites. And those data brokers collect your data and then sell it to other companies and puts you at risk for scams and fraud. But the great news is that Delete Me goes in and will remove your data to help protect you from phishing, harassment, and other online threats. Winston and I, we use Delete Me. We love it, and it saves us so much time and worry. So you guys, your family's safety and financial security, they're way too important to leave exposed. So sign up for Delete Me and take control. Go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off, bringing your monthly cost to under $9. So click the link down in the description to check out Delete Me. All right, number 3 is opportunity cost. So today, the average monthly payment on a new car is somewhere around $734. So that is a lot of money to be going out every single month. So instead, let's say you bought a used car, for a couple $1,000 that you saved up. And instead of paying $734 to the car dealership or to the bank, let's say you actually took that and you invested that. And let's say you did that from age 39 to age 65. And over the course of those years, with compound interest, you will have just over $1 million. Isn't that crazy? If you paid yourself a car payment versus the bank, you would keep all that money. And when it's invested, it is growing, and compound interest does its beautiful work. So it's incredible what can happen. So the opportunity cost of a car loan is so, so real. I will leave a link to Ramsey's investment calculator so you can plug in your own numbers and see for yourself. I'll put that down below. All right, number 4, the right way. So if you currently have a car loan and you do want to pivot, here's what I would recommend. So I would look and see, okay, can you pay this car off completely in about 18-ish months? If it's going to take you longer than that, sell the car. It's too expensive. And if you're underwater on it, so let's say you have a $34,000 car loan, but you can only sell it for $30,000, then go take a small loan of like $6,000 to $7,000, buy a really crappy car with some of that, pay off the rest, sell it, get rid of it. I would rather have a $7,000 loan than a $34,000 loan, right? So you can do it even if you're underwater. Look at your options because, again, most of the time it is dragging you down. And what that payment could do then, if you kept that money instead of sending it to the bank, how faster you could get out of other debt that you're potentially in. So selling the car is usually the answer for a lot of people. Now, if you never want to have a car loan again, make sure to check out Ramsey's Car Guide. And it's everything from buying and selling to car maintenance, all of it. I'll put a link down for you to check out. Now let's talk about the one exception I have to the no buying new cars rule. When we talk about it goes down in value so much. We always say if you have a net worth of $1 million, then you can afford to take the hit financially. There's almost like this idea of, could you see a pile of money in the middle of the room, light it on fire, and does that affect you, right? And for a lot of people, as they're getting out of debt, they're trying to save money. Yes, that would affect them. They want that money that's right in the center of the room. Instead of burning it, I need it. But when you hit around that millionaire status, then you have enough bandwidth, you have enough margin in your money that if you take the 9% loss or the 20% loss in the first year, financially, dollar to dollar, usually is not going to affect you as much. So once you hit that net worth millionaire status, that is when you can buy a brand new car. So wasting money on car loans, again, it's kind of just like this classic middle class habit that a lot of people have. And get rid of it. Stop. Don't do that. Pay yourself that money versus the bank, again, on a depreciating asset. So if you want more info when it comes to the new middle class, make sure to check out my episode of 10 things quickly becoming too expensive for the middle class. You can click here, or if you're listening on podcast, I'll put a link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. Well, hey, you guys. So if you're like me, you've probably seen a lot of self-care culture going around social media and on the internet. So whether it's your nighttime skincare routine that you see or self-care shopping day, people love to treat themselves. And listen, I'm here for it. I think it's great. And I say it every week on the show. But again, I want you to create a life you love. But don't forget the first part of that sentence because that matters too. To take control of your money and create a life you love. And in order to create a life you love and have joy and have peace, again, you have to take control of your money first. And in the mindset of so much comparison culture, and especially when it comes to social media, it can be really tough to have some discipline when it comes to this. So today I'm sharing with you my financial self-care routine. So it may not involve splurging on a fancy face mask, but trust me, what's waiting on the other side is so much better. And stick around to find out what I mean. And at the end, I'll share one product that I do recommend you spend money on when it comes to financial self-care. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I'm fine financially. I don't really need any self-care in that area. So first, if that's you, let's just look at some statistics and see if you relate to any of these. So 3 out of 4 adults say that they often or sometimes feel stressed when it comes to money. And as of last year, 34% of Americans say they either are struggling or are in crisis over the state of their personal finance. 49% of Americans say that they have at least $1,000 in savings, but 33% report having no savings at all. And these numbers just prove that money is a pain point for a lot of people. And over a third of Americans actually feel like they are in crisis mode. So did you know that research shows that we as people actually react differently in our bodies when it comes to a crisis? Now, some people may exaggerate their communication response, aka you might get short with your kids or your spouse or your friends. People may revert to instinctive fight or flight, aka maybe you might be avoiding a problem altogether. Maybe you dig yourself deeper into debt. Some people feel anxious and guilty, hopeless, even confused. Like you're just too embarrassed to even ask for help because you don't believe that, you can pay off all this debt. So I don't know about you, but those feelings I never want anyone to feel because it seems really hopeless. But listen, there's always hope, and a little financial self-care goes a long way. But before we get to the ultimate financial self-care routine, it's important that we're all on the same page about the basics. So if you know Ramsey Solutions, you know that we are all about getting out of debt. We're all about budgeting. We're all about having an emergency fund, investing in retirement, paying your house off early, saving for your kids' college, building wealth and giving, all of this. These are all in the baby steps. And it's something, again, it's a plan that we really do believe in. So that's kind of our philosophy when it comes to money overall. But once you're familiar with the baby steps and you're actively maintaining them, then it's time to level up with some financial self-care. So here are 5 crucial steps in my own financial self-care routine. Number 1, track your spending and be honest about where you need to make adjustments. So we have EveryDollar budgeting app. And so Winston and I, we do this. Almost daily, I'm looking at where we're spending our money, and our EveryDollar app is connected to our checking account. So every time we swipe a debit card, it goes into EveryDollar. That little bubble pops up. We click on it and I drag and drop to whether it's Costco or groceries or Amazon or kids' school lunches, like whatever it is. I sit there and honestly track every part of our spending, which may sound crazy to some people. It does not take long. And again, to be able to maintain a budget, you have to know where you're spending. So if you've never done a budget, try it out. And also have a miscellaneous category. That's always one of my number 1 rules when it comes to budgeting, because stuff is going to come up throughout the month that you did not plan on. Buying wiffle balls for the kids this summer. We needed wiffle balls. I was like, oh yeah. And it's only like $12, but we are very intentional about where all of our savings go. So, you just throw some of that miscellaneous and you're good to go. All right, number 2, keep savings in a high yield savings account. So once you are in a place where you're saving up for an emergency fund, baby step 1, and or your fully funded emergency fund after you've paid off debt, a great place to put your savings is not just in a regular savings account at your bank. Look for a high yield savings account. So with this, there may be times that, if you take too much out, there's some fees and all of that. So you really want to make sure that you know the parameters around your high yield savings. And this cannot be like your checking account, right? But if you put money in here, you're going to get more of a return. And so where traditional savings account is like 2%, if that, on like a good year, high yield savings accounts were going up to like 5-6%, like crazy amount. So make sure to put your savings there and let it build over time. Number 3, check on your investment progress. So I would say do this once a year. People that look at their investments every other day stress me out, because the truth is the market is going to do this. And the goal for your investing is that it's long-term. So whether it goes like this one day or this one day, it doesn't matter overall, right? Day to day, you let it go and then check once a year. And we sit down with our investment professional every January and look at it all. And even this last January, we actually changed some stuff of what we were doing, just some little tweaks here or there. But it's just good to look at an overall picture, but don't look at it all the time because it's going to freak you out and it's not worth that stress. Number 4, stay ready for tax season. So if you are someone that needs to keep receipts because you have a business or you have some different records that you want to keep when it comes to filing your taxes, make sure you're doing this because there can be so many write-offs. And then when it gets to April, you want to be able to take advantage of that, but you don't want to have to go and track everything down. So as the year is going, be thinking ahead and say, okay, what do I need when tax season comes? And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the one product that I think is actually really worth it when it comes to your financial self-care is Financial Peace University. So this is our 9-lesson money course, and it walks you through the proven financial practices when it comes to building wealth. And it's really easy to sign up and get started, so I'll leave a link for you below. But part of financial self-care is learning. Continuing to put more in your mind, learning from people, seeing what other people are doing that are actually working with a long track record. And you know that's some advice that you can take. And that is Financial Peace University. And if you've never seen me walk through my paycheck routine, make sure to check out that episode because that's really going to help you when it comes to budgeting and all of this financial self-care. So remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. Well, hey, you guys. So the one thing that I love about money and personal finance is that a little bit of legwork on the front end has power to create such long-term success. Now, learning the basics and having good money habits and consistency, all of that is so crucial. And before you know it, you'll be making more progress than you ever thought was possible. And it might sound cheesy, but it's true. And this is just one of the many reasons why I love my job, because I'm always blown away by how people are able to transform their finances once they have access to the proven tools they need to actually let their money work for them. But there are a few tricks of the trade that you can't just put on autopilot. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So there are 5 numbers, percentages, rates, whatever you want to call them, that are really important to keep your eye on. I'll explain what these are and how you can leverage them to build wealth when you track them consistently. All right, the first number that you need to track in order to build wealth should also be your first step on your financial journey, and that is debt. So before you start tracking Zillow or CarMax or the stock market, your number one priority should be looking at how much debt that you have and how to eliminate it completely as quickly as possible. So keeping in mind the word tracking there is something that is active, it is moving, and your amount of debt is going to change over the course of time, for better or for worse. But as you start paying it down, obviously that's for the better. And so again, it's this idea that you're saying, hey, I'm going to know the amount of money I have that I owe to people, my debt, and I'm gonna have a plan to start paying that off. But the longer you put that off, the longer it's going to take you to pay off debts because of interest that you're continuing to pay, even some late fees if you're late paying those bills. So to get started with this, I recommend doing something called the debt snowball. This is a method that we've talked about for so long, and this helps you build momentum when it comes to paying off your debt. And this is where you're going to list out all of your debts, smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate, pay minimum payments on everything, and attack that smallest debt first. Which brings me to the number 2 number that you should be tracking when you're building wealth, and that is savings. So when it comes to an emergency fund, this is crucial. I always tell people to get a $1,000 emergency fund first and foremost. And then once you're out of debt, you can bump that up to 3 to 6 months of expenses. Now, once that's all done, you have no debt, you have a fully funded emergency fund, then you're going to be looking at your life and you're going to want to know those numbers to say, hey, do I need to be saving up to replace a car? Do I need to be saving up for maybe a vacation we want to take? Am I saving up for things like retirements and accounts that are out there that I won't see for maybe a few more decades? Whatever it is, you want to be able to actively track your progress over time to know what is in your savings, because this is a really crucial number, because that emergency fund is there to catch you when life happens, but also things like sinking funds is going to help you live a lifestyle that you want, but doing it the right way. All right, the third number you should be tracking is something that applies to almost everyone on earth, and that is your income. Your income is your largest wealth building tool. It is the thing that is going to help you build wealth over time, because when your income comes in and you don't have half of it because it's going out to debt payments, it's hard to use the remaining income, not just for your life, but in order to invest and do things to help you build wealth. So when you have your entire paycheck working for you, that is so crucial. That's why paying off debt is really important. But it is important to know how much money you have coming in, knowing that number, and where it's all going. So a monthly budget does this, you guys. It is so crucial. It is a plan to help you when it comes to your spending. If you need to put money aside for savings, like we talked about earlier, all of it. But none of this is possible without that income. Your income is really crucial. And I can give you one piece of advice when it comes to tracking your income, because it's all about balance. And most of us have had a desire, to make more money, or maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I want to, do bigger and better things. And listen, that desire is not a bad thing. And I think it's great to be motivated and to work hard and to earn money and provide for yourself, to be giving and being generous. But make sure all of that is going alongside this idea of contentment as well. Because I hear a lot of young professionals say that everyone should be job hopping every year, because if you move jobs, then you actually have a better chance of making more money and all of this. I get the drive behind this, and studies have shown that moving around to different companies increases your salary by a larger percentage than just staying with one employer forever. But I don't necessarily think that that's the right mindset to have all the time, because again, in life, there are pros and cons to everything. And if you're really happy with your current job, then stay. I think it's rare to find a place that you love when it comes to work and it aligns with your values, your skill sets, your career aspirations. But with that being said, pay attention to your raise history. And if you haven't had one in a while, talk to your leader about that. Even do some market research and know, hey, what are some comparable roles even in my city? And make sure that you're earning enough money to be pushing your financial goals forward. Also, that you're, getting paid market value, I think is really important. But again, you want to be doing all of this. Those things are so good and so great. But sometimes we could just we want to claw for more and more and more and more. And again, sometimes that motivation isn't necessarily bad, but make sure that you do have a level of peace and contentment too. So I think familiarizing yourself with numbers is going to really help you know appropriately, hey, with my income, am I where I should be? And I think that's a really crucial question to ask yourself. All right, the fourth number that you should be tracking in order to build wealth is something that's related to your income and works in tandem with it. Like I mentioned earlier, I said I would circle back on this, but that is investing. So we touched on this a little bit, but again, once your emergency fund is funded of 3 to 6 months of expenses, investing is a really crucial number to know. And that is 15% of your income should be going towards building wealth. And these are going to be things like a Roth IRA or a 401k at work, but these things long-term are going to be making money while you sleep. I mean, it's amazing. Compound interest is a really beautiful thing, but your work doesn't end once you just start investing. Make sure that you increase those percentages over time once you've paid off your house and everything. So for example, again, let's just say you had no mortgage, your kids' college was taken care of, everything is good. Then you want to be increasing your giving and your investing. And I think at that point, it's a really crucial part of your life, because it's going to probably be later on when you're a little bit older. So you're going to be able to throw some more money, because retirement is coming sooner than you think, and you want to be prepared for it. So again, that 15% is a really crucial number to know, and it will increase over time. But also, I think it's fun to look at your progress when it comes to investing. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check out our Ramsey Investment Calculator. It's really easy to use, and it can be really motivating to know where you're headed when it comes to retirement. So plug some of those numbers in. Have some fun with it. All right, the fifth number that you need to track is actually 3 numbers in one, and it all has to do with your mortgage. So you want to pay attention to this percentage, 25%. Your housing costs, like your rent, mortgage, insurance, HOA fees, should all be about 25% of your take-home pay. So this percentage is really crucial, because we want to be able to free up your other 75% of your income to work for you. So whether that's investing or saving or giving, whatever it is, so that your house isn't taking up so much of your income. Next, I have another percentage for you to track, and that is interest rates. So interest rates are in the 6s and 7s right now as we're filming this, but they could drop soon. I mean, who knows? We don't know. So be watching those numbers, because if you're buying a house recently, yeah, your interest rate is higher than it was a few years ago, but maybe you can refinance down to a lower rate when rates start to drop. So mortgage rates are constantly changing. So again, keep your eye out on that. And then the final number that you want to track is principal versus interest when it comes to your monthly mortgage payment. So the quicker you can pay money towards the principal of what you owe, the actual amount of money that you borrowed from the bank to buy your home, the better off you're going to be. So making a couple of extra mortgage payments every single year can actually shorten your timeline drastically and can save you thousands of dollars. But what you want to do when you pay that is to make sure to tell the mortgage company, put this extra payment towards the principal. And again, it's really, really key here because when you're paying down that principal, it's going to cause you to get out of that mortgage so much faster. And the idea of paying off your house, I know it can sound so weird and it sounds so crazy, but people are doing it, you guys. So it's actually really impressive. So run some of those numbers and look at it because it is really, really crucial. Now, the true wealth building power is in the details. So you want to keep track of everything going on in your life when it comes to your money. And Every Dollar is one of the best ways to do that. So this is a great budgeting app to help you keep track of your paycheck and know what is happening in your life. So you can go to everydollar.com/Rachel and create your custom budget for free and start making progress today. And if you haven't checked out my episode on easy ways to pay off your mortgage early, make sure to do that because that's so, so important, you guys. All right, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. I'm pretty convinced that moms, they run the world. That's right, Beyonce. I hear you, girl. I hear you. Okay, listen, every mom is different though, right? Every mom has different gifts, different struggles, different circumstances. But I am convinced that every mom in the history of ever has wrestled with an idea of your identity. So let's talk about 4 important truths to remember when motherhood feels like it is taking over your entire life, because we have all been there if you are a mom. All right, first, I have to pass along the best advice that I ever received about balancing motherhood and marriage. When we were pregnant with our first, it was I that was obviously physically pregnant. And I remember someone told us, they're like, just look at it like your kids are entering your world, not the other way around. And I thought that's really good advice. Now, I will say that won't feel true 24/7 by any means, but it was kind of this good filter, at least for Winston and I, to make decisions out of, because I think it forced us to prioritize things that really made us us and prioritize our marriage and what, causes us to thrive as individuals in a healthy marriage. And as this baby enters that, like not forgetting those things, right? And people always say, like, don't lose yourself, if you will, when you have kids, if like your only fulfillment is your kids. And I get that, but also our kids are a big part of our lives. It is like your heart is out there. And so there is this tendency, obviously, as a mom, that you're like, I want to take care and do what I need to do to help this little one grow. And that's part of stewarding parenting, right? Like I am here to manage this little human on earth, and it is my responsibility to allow to, show them how the world works so that they can be a healthy, functioning adult. And kids, listen, they are learning, they are growing, they're going to disappoint you, they're going to make you laugh, they're going to do all the things. But there is something to say that, like, you as an individual, as a woman, you bring something to the world and to your family that is you. And there's something beautiful in that, and not losing that, right? And finding this fulfillment in other relationships that are alongside you. And I would even put marriage in that. But having this like healthy outlook of you are the individual that has chosen to have this marriage maybe, or to have children, and not forgetting her. It's really, really important. Now, another truth that is important to remember is that every mom is different, okay? There are some moms that are extroverts, some moms that are homebodies, some moms that are comfortable letting their kids explore. There's going to be more cautious moms. Like, you're going to find your natural bent as a mom, and that is okay. And this is where comparison can creep in, and it is terrible, y'all. It's terrible. Do not compare yourself to other people. And I found myself being like, I have to be on the go, because I'm a natural on the go person. So I'm like, I like to be busy and do things. And I remember with Amelia, I was like, we are not stopping our social life. And little Amelia got toted around everywhere, y'all. We kept a pack and play, like literally in the trunk of our car. And we would still go to friends' houses and pop that up in a closet. And life was great. I was like, we can do this. And it was fine. But then we had 2 babies, and it was like, all right, this makes it a little bit more difficult. And then 3, you're like, we're just home for the rest of our lives. That's what it feels like after the 3rd one came. But there was something about knowing who I was, what gives me life, and figuring out kind of like what works around that. And so there's something about that I think is beautiful. But don't compare what you're doing with someone else, because other moms, they have other giftings. What they are good at, what they get out of life is so different than you. And that is okay. So I'm always on the team of no judgment. No judgment. Like, you do you, girl. That is great. Whatever you can do it. Now, one thing I do recommend for all parents to get serious about is cleaning up your personal info online. And this is why I love and use Delete Me. Because if you do not remove your personal data from the internet, it's basically like a billboard with your name, your address, your email, even your kids' names are out there. And sketchy data brokers go out there and they collect your data, then they sell it, and that puts you at risk for scams and fraud. But the good news is that Delete Me removes your data and helps protect you from phishing, harassment, and other online threats. Winston and I use Delete Me, and we love it because it saves us so much time and worry. So you guys, your family's safety and financial security are way too important to leave exposed. So sign up for Delete Me and take control. Go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off, bringing your monthly cost to under $9 a month. Click the link in the description. You get all the details there. All right, number 3 is to remember that every season of motherhood is different. There are some seasons that are just going to require way more of your attention because you don't want your kid to choke on applesauce, right? And like when they are little, it is like so hands on deck, like more than you even realize. If you're in that season, like you're doing more than you probably even think you're doing. And we're like, I'm good. You're doing a lot. Like, just remember that it is a lot. And then when you're in a season, which is what we have moved into, is like they're self-sufficient. And it's amazing. Like, they like make their own cereal in the morning. Like, there's just stuff that they can do. You know, just a few weekends ago, it was like a really rainy Saturday, and I was in bed reading a book. And all the kids, they were playing out there, you know, making forts and doing what they're doing, in and out, you know, and we're just, you know, having our Saturday. And I looked up and I was like, oh, I've like been in my bed for 2 hours. Like, my children are out there. But I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Because the season of life I'm in, I can do that. And they're going to survive out there. Like, they're okay. Because it's just an incredible thing where I used to have to feed them like every single meal and monitor every single thing. Like, even when they went to the bathroom, they needed my assistance. Like, there was so much hands-on stuff. And now that I'm entering this new season, it's insane. I can't even imagine having teenagers where they're like not even in the house much anymore, right? So this season I'm in, I'm like, oh, this looks so different. And it's actually a really beautiful thing. So remember that. You've paid your dues, moms. You're okay. You are okay. All right, number 4 is to never stop investing in yourself. And we hear this a lot, and it is true that mothers are very selfless. Like, we give so much of us away, and it is a beautiful thing. And I think there is that level of motherhood that does require a level of sacrifice, and it's great. But I will say, being so selfless and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, when it's negatively affecting you, you have to realize that like a red flag may need to be raised. I have found so much of like understanding yourself and taking care of you is not a selfish thing. Like, there is something beautiful about that, but it has a means to an end. You're doing that so that you can be full in life to then go and give, right? Whether it's relationships or your kids or your marriage, like whatever that looks like. And so there is like a lot of talk about like self-help and all this, which I think is beautiful and actually really great. Getting yourself to a healthy spot in your life is really, really important so that you can be able to go and serve and to give and live a fulfilled life. And so don't drain yourself completely. If you don't have anything in your cup, there's nothing that you can pour out to other people. And so remember to fill your cup, whatever that looks like. And it may look different season to season, but always remember that. Recently, there was a viral audio clip on Instagram that said the number one indicator for whether children grow up to thrive is the quality of their mother's happiness. I think that's beautiful. Like, there is something to be said when you are serving others out of the outpour of joy that is in you. That is a beautiful thing. So remember that. Serve out of abundance of yourself, not out of this like scarcity where you're running yourself ragged. So remember, and the self-help stuff, like, do what you got to do, but like really deeply take care of yourself. Sit in silence, have some solitude where you can. If you have the means and the time, like, go to therapy. It's a beautiful thing. Sit, you know, with a spiritual sense of like being aware of God. Like, there are things that you can do that really don't cost much. Therapy does, but everything else doesn't that I just mentioned. But like pedicures, manicures, bubble baths, like all that's fine. But like, genuinely take care of your soul, moms. Take care of your soul. All right, there's so much noise though out there about like parenting the right way. And so I never want to like be that person that's like, this is how you should do it. But I do have an interesting take on being the classroom parent versus the Venmo parent, because there's a discussion about that online right now. So if you want to hear my thoughts, click here to watch that. Or if you're listening on podcast, click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. Well, hey, you guys. All right, I hate to be the bearer of old news, but in case you've been living under a rock, almost everything has gotten more expensive recently. Yeah, have you noticed? We've all caught a little bit of a break, specifically, with eggs and toilet paper, over the last year or two. But overall, inflation is still sticking around. And one area that this is majorly affecting is the cost of insurance. So everything from car insurance to health insurance to home insurance, the cost of these continue to increase, it seems like, by the day. And it is so frustrating. My sister, she went to go renew their homeowner's insurance. She's like, can you believe this? I mean, it's true. I mean, we're all seeing it. So today I'm going to give you a heads up on what to watch out for and talk through some solutions when it comes to this issue. And stick around because I'll be sharing 2 types of insurance that people tend to skip, but ones that you need. All right, first, I started thinking about this topic when someone called the Ramsey Show and they said they couldn't get their car covered by any insurance companies. And I was hosting the Ramsey Show with Dr. John Deloney that day. And we both were like, what? Really? Are you sure? We were like totally questioning the guy. And he was like, no, really, really. So then finally we looked it up after we got done with the call. And he was right. Like there's a specific model of a Kia that had a bad track record with safety features or part repairs. And basically, insurance companies refused to get involved because they didn't want to pay for the high risk and everything. And so, it was crazy. So then I knew, that was kind of going on. And then some other insurances were going up. So I was like, we just need to look at this and get the facts. So let's look at some recent stats just to wrap our head around all of this. According to the S&P Global Market Intelligence, insurance companies aim to raise home insurance premiums by more than 11% last year on average. And in addition to that, car insurance premiums are now starting to outpace inflation. So, for example, Farmers Insurance raised its private auto rates to double digits in 43 states last year. And health insurance rates are rising, and an estimated 8.4% of Americans, aka 27.6 million, were going without health coverage in 2022, according to Forbes. So what happens as a result of inadequate coverage when things happen in life? Debt. Debt ends up being the safety net for many people's situations. So whether it's health insurance, car insurance, all of it. And now medical debt is really common. And honestly, it is so sad. It's actually the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical debt. And you think about that, it's so sad. And we can't fix the health care situation in America through this video. But I think we can all say that it does suck that, in order to take care of ourselves, it costs a lot of money and you have to have adequate insurance to make sure that it's covered, because if that doesn't happen, then you are paying a premium out of pocket and it leaves a lot of people in financial distress, and it's really, really difficult. And so what I want to do, though, is talk through some practical solutions to this problem in a minute. But first, let's look at the why behind rising insurance rates as a whole. So there's a few reasons for this. Number one, insurance execs claim that they're being forced to raise rates because that it's legitimately required because of the lifestyle norms of people today. The cost it takes to take care of things like your car being replaced or things going on in the healthcare industry. Because things are more expensive, they're having to charge more. Number two, an increase in natural disasters over the last couple of years, along with the increase of population, has affected supply and demand. And number three, the culprit that we can all agree on, inflation. So clearly this is a challenge for so many people, but we're feeling it even in insurance. Now listen, I am not here to invalidate the struggle because it is very real, but I do want to offer some solutions that help, because I want you to be able to control what you can control. And sadly, we can't always control what the insurance companies are going to do, but we can control what we do with our money. Now, one of those things you can control is actually one of our sponsors, which is Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is a faith-based alternative to health insurance, and it makes healthcare more affordable and allows its members to share each other's healthcare costs. And it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. So step 1, choose the healthcare provider that you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. And with no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider. CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. So to find out more, go to chministries.org/budget. All right, here are 3 things that I want you to do ASAP that are going to pay off big time. Number 1, ditch unnecessary coverage. So insurance is an important part of life, but there is coverages, you guys, you don't need. So things like whole life insurance, you need life insurance, but whole life is so expensive. Accidental death insurance, you don't need that. Mortgage protection insurance. Any insurance that is for kids, okay? So a lot of people try to sell like a whole life policy for your child or things like that. Gerber insurance, all of this stuff, you don't need that stuff. So when you take those things off the table, if you have them, that's going to save you some money. Number 2, be diligent in asking questions. So whether it's phone calls to your doctor's office or a quick meeting with your HR rep at work, asking questions specifically around the health insurance stuff can be really finicky, but really important because sometimes these insurance companies just bank on you not asking questions. They send you the bill and you just keep on moving. But we've heard so many stories of people that keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and they get their bill lowered because whether they found something in the fine print or there's errors or there's things going on. Again, ask questions, dig in, and that could save you some money. And number 3, price out what's best for your family. Time is money, people. And there are pros and cons to different coverage packages with different insurance companies. So don't forget that you hold the power when you decide your options and you get to say, hey, which option do I want? So if you and your spouse maybe have different benefits packages between both of your jobs, sit down and say, hey, is it better for you to take the family and the kids on yours and I'll go as an individual? Or is it better for us to come together just to see, hey, what's going to save us? You know, even if it's $200 a month, that's $2,400 in a year. So it's worth the trouble to do the math and figure that out. And spoiler alert, if you got extra money, that's margin that you have to use for your life or pay off debt or save, and that's great. Now, before I share the 2 types of insurances that most people skip most often, let's circle back to our chat about debt a little bit earlier. Because if you're someone that feels the weight of the past when it comes to specifically medical debt or an emergency expense that you weren't prepared for, here's what I recommend doing. Number 1, get an emergency fund ASAP. So this is a $1,000 emergency fund. And then number 2, I want you to start paying off your debt. Now, again, if medical debt is one of those in there, do what we talked about earlier and ask some questions. See, hey, are there places here that the bills can be lowered at any portion? And even if they go into collections, which some of them do, sometimes you can negotiate with the collection company. Get everything in writing if you can do that. But again, this is something that it's so burdensome on people because it carries such a sad story usually with it. But here's the thing, if it's a mountain, you can take it a little bit at a time. And, you know, just as I see people with student loan debt in the 6 figures, but they pay it off, it takes a while, but they focus on it, they put extra money towards it, and they actually start to see it lower and lower and lower. That can happen with any type of debt, you guys. So again, having a plan puts you in control, which again, I think is so key, and it's just one step at a time. All right, you guys, the 2 insurances that you want to make sure that are in place. Number 1, if you are a renter, please get renter's insurance. It is very inexpensive. I mean, I've seen them as low as like $12, $20 a month. Okay, they're very inexpensive, but get it because if something happens, if there's a fire, you know, a natural disaster, whatever, and everything is gone, that's all your personal belongings, like making sure that all that's covered. And it's really inexpensive. It may not happen, but again, it's something to protect yourself. And then number 2, identity theft insurance. So this is a big one too in our world that is so digital, that our data is out there. There is so much going on, especially even that we pay online so much with stuff. Like everything is out there, making sure that your identity is protected. And Xander Insurance is a great place to do this. And just to have somebody on your team that if it happens or when it happens, because I feel like identity theft is so common now, they take care of that for you, which is great. Now, you want to make sure that you're protected with all the insurances that you need. So I recommend using Ramsey's Insurance Checkup. I will leave a link below to make sure that you check that out and that you're covered in all the areas of life that you need to be covered. And for more clarity on what you should and shouldn't be wasting your money on, make sure to check out my episode with Minimal Mom on things that we will not spend money on in 2024. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.